Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into something specific and quite interesting. It's the Company Games and Business Simulation Academic Journal, Volume 5, Issue 1, just out from June 2025.
Yes, and this one's quite significant. It's really a key voice in, business simulation, gamification, known for being open access, rigorous peer review, and it pulls together researchers from Spain, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Argentina, a real hub.
Right. So our goal today is to sort of extract the key insights from this particular edition, give you a shortcut to the cutting edge of educational innovation and how it actually works in practice. So what really caught your eye first? Where should we start?
Okay, well, the thing that jumped out at me immediately was this detailed bibliometric analysis.
Ah, okay, like mapping the research landscape.
Exactly. It quantitatively looks at the trends in academic publications, specifically focusing on gamification in university settings.
Sounds like quite the undertaking.
Yeah.
So what did this analysis, this sort of research mapping, actually show about gamification in higher ed?
It really was. They looked at over 400 articles, and it clearly shows, a rapidly growing interest from academics. There was a really significant jump in publications between 2018 and 2022.
Wow, that's quite a surge.
It is. And what's really insightful, I think, is that the research shows it's not just about points and badges, the superficial stuff. The most effective strategies seem to tap into intrinsic motivation. Things like mastery, autonomy, purpose.
Right, getting students genuinely engaged rather than just chasing rewards.
Precisely. Shifting them from being passive listeners to active participants in their own learning, that seems to be the key.
And digging into this, something that surprised me was the history. We think gamification is this new buzzword, right? Coined around 2008.
Feels quite recent.
But the idea, the core concept, apparently goes way back to the 1970s, like with airline loyalty programs.
That's a great point. It really is about taking those core game mechanics, clear goals, quick feedback, that sense of moving forward, and applying them to education. The aim is boosting motivation, engagement, performance, using game design, but, outside of actual games.
So that gamification piece really shows how smart design can change learning. But the journal also had this other really intriguing study on Lydia, a totally different approach, but still very innovative.
Oh, yes, Lydia. That was fascinating. It's a custom GPT, so think of an AI chatbot, but trained specifically for this one course. It was designed to help develop transversal competencies.
Okay, transversal competencies. Remind us what those are.
Sure. They're those broad skills like critical thinking, problem solving, ethical reasoning, skills that work across different fields and are, frankly, essential for any professional today. The course itself was on posthumanism, ethics, and technology. Pretty complex stuff.
Right, and what's interesting is how Lydia works. It's not just a search engine replacement, is it?
Not at all. That's the key difference. Lydia acts more like an academic assistant. It's designed to sort of accompany the students, mediate their thinking, and really enhance their learning, especially for fostering that complex ethical reasoning and seeing the bigger picture systemic thinking.
Almost like a dedicated thinking part.
Exactly. And the student feedback, overwhelmingly positive. Over 80% said it really helped them grasp the concepts and build those skills.
That's impressive.
It really is. And it suggests a shift, perhaps, in AI's role. Not just delivering content, but maybe acting as a kind of cognitive sparring partner, pushing students to think deeper, beyond just finding answers quickly.
Yeah, promoting critical engagement. But the study was also quite realistic about AI's limits, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Very clear-eyed. It acknowledged things like AI lacking real moral judgment or, common sense. It's not about replacing the human teacher, but augmenting the learning process in a powerful way.
That distinction is crucial. AI used with clear pedagogical goals.
Precisely. It makes you ask, how can we use AI to genuinely foster responsible learning and critical thinking, not just find shortcuts? Lydia gives us a potential model.
Definitely food for thought.
Yeah.
And speaking of making learning more practical and dynamic, the journal also touched on business simulators, right? The fitness gym example.
Yes, that's another key piece. Simulators like Fitness Gym are vital for bridging that gap we often see between classroom theory and, real-world practice.
The knowing versus doing gap.
Exactly. They let students practice crucial managerial skills, critical thinking, making decisions under pressure, strategic planning, but in a safe space. No real-world financial risks. Think of it like a flight simulator, but for running a business.
That makes sense. So you can make mistakes, learn from them, without, bankrupting a real company.
Right. It helps students really understand the difference between having a plan on paper and actually managing things moment to moment when unexpected challenges pop up. Market shifts, supply chain issues, competitor moves. That real-time adaptation is where deep learning happens.
It builds those practical, adaptable skills you need out there. Confidence, too, I imagine.
Definitely. Builds real confidence and a much deeper understanding than just reading a textbook.
So pulling all these different threads together from this one issue of the journal, what's the big picture?
Well, I think it clearly highlights a powerful trend. Education is becoming much more active, more experiential.
And more integrated with technology, obviously.
Deeply integrated, yes. And these aren't just, abstract academic ideas. They're actively shaping how the next generation of professionals will learn, adapt, and think critically.
It's about preparing them for a future that demands those skills.
Mm-hmm.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe the question for you listening is this. If learning is increasingly and traditionally about this kind of dynamic engagement, critical thinking, and crucially, ethical interaction with new tech, how might you rethink your own approach to learning new things? What could you perhaps integrate into your own journey?